Well, I would say we are live, but the funny thing is when you go live, sometimes things happen. So the thing that happened today is DC1 is UA, Article 86 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. She is MIA. I don't know where she's at. She said she would be right back. So hopefully we'll just we'll get her up. But while we wait for her, thank you everybody for coming in, checking in today. We got a great show for you today with the 2019. Now I'm required to say this every time I speak to her or I call on her. The 2019-2020 Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Delbert D. Black, Leadership Award recipient. I'm going to mess up the first name, Command Master Chief. I'm going to say Samira. It's probably Samira. She'll tell us when we get here, Mcbride. So she'll be on today. And but before we get any further, there's DC1. Thanks for coming. She's still muted. And watch this. I'm going to put her right to work as soon as she unmutes. DC1, you ready?
I'm always ready. All right. So here we go. So we just want to let everybody know that the views presented herein are those of individual speakers and our guests, and they do not represent or necessarily represent the official position of the DoD, the Department of the Navy, or any command within the United States of the world's greatest Navy.
And most powerful. That was absolutely phenomenal. Great job again.
Yes, thank you.
So I must say, I get a little jealous because I live in the northern part of the nation where there's very little sun, although it has been hotter. So I always come in, and then you're always very tan, and then I come in with this, and it's like I could sleep outside in the middle of the day, and this is the paleness, the see-throughness, the opaqueness that you would still get. So.
Okay, I'm going to share with you a little secret, and some of you who do video or podcasts will know this.
Is it makeup?
Yes, you're going to have to get a bronzer. It's two things. This bronzer, Sephora, right? So if you don't want to do a bronzer, you can get a ring light. And when I put it on, I'm maybe a little bit lighter, and I just turn that setting, and I'm like, I look like I got a tan. That's my secret.
Neither of those are going to happen because I'm not spending the money on on a ring light. So, all right. So,
did
I see what?
That.
Toby Ruiz saying I do need makeup. Lipstick, little eyeshadow, little rouge. Is that what they call that stuff right here? Little rouge. I got you. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's actually we could throw that up there. Can we throw? There you go. Thanks, Toby. I appreciate you. So,
and thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. So over to you for the tuner ins and the bells and the whistles and the hoots and the hollers.
Yes. So for those of you who are joining us, and usually I would say in a couple more minutes, we'll have a lot more of our audience tuned in. But for those of y'all who just tuned in, we absolutely want to say thank you for watching and also sharing this content with other people who might be interested or can gain some insight on leadership, because that's what this podcast topic is about leadership. And we ask that you please go ahead and subscribe, because we don't want you missing out on any future shows. So hit that alert button, subscribe, so that way you get those alerts of upcoming shows, like, and share. If you hear anything at all throughout this this show that resonates with you, or that you're like, I like that, throw a thumbs up, do Master Chief's little emoji with the bomb, anything at all. Yeah, boom, not bomb. Boom. And
I do love that. You dropped the bomb on me. Baby, remember that? Young folk don't understand.
I don't know. I do know that you're a singer too, as well. So that's one of your hidden talents.
If you hear squeals in the background, apparently my children think it's gym time or something. Or they're jumping around the house.
No, they say, "Stop, mommy! Stop it!" So before we get started, please let us know where you're tuning in from, because we have this platform streaming live from Facebook, from YouTube, and we just want to know what city or state are you representing, or are you tuning in from? And thank you for being with us today.
And I will tell you, I've already done somewhat of an introduction and told everybody that the 2019-2020 Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Delbert D. Black, Leadership Award recipient, Command Master Chief Mcbride, is our special guest today. So they already know that. But if you have a question for her, I do ask that you please put it up there. She has graciously agreed to answer some questions. And remember, it's about leadership. That's what we want to stick to. So please as we go throughout this, please put those questions up there. We'll get to them as soon as we possibly can. So, and we do have some exciting news for the end that nobody knows but me. That's the hook. You got to stay. That's part of it. So, some exciting news. I think it's exciting, but nobody probably really cares.
I think it's exciting. Oh, we have the West Coast, Callie tuning in. And
did you see April Beldo, your BFF?
I don't know how to. I know Senior Kimball does it really. Forget it. I
can't do it at all. I just make a circle. That's about as far as it gets. So, all right. So, are we ready?
We are ready. Are y'all ready out there? Let's go.
All right. So, we have a video. And when the video is over, like the magic that we are, you will see the 2019-2020 Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Delbert D. Black Leadership Award recipient, Master Chief McBride. That's going to be a lot of words today, but she said I had to.
Yeah, that's how we're going to address her.
Well, you remember when Master Chief Kirby was on, and he had to say, "Go Navy, beat Army" after every sentence. Same thing.
That's right. Yep.
A little bit different. All right, here we go. Here's a video, and when it'll be boom, she'll be there. This is magic. All right, there she is. It's magic. Welcome. And thank you to the 2019-2020 Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Delbert D. Black Leadership Award recipient, Command Master Chief McBride, for joining us today. Can I stop saying that after every time now?
Yes.
Okay.
You absolutely can.
Thank you. But no, seriously, thank you for taking time out of your day and away from everything that you had going on with your sailors, your family, and things you had going on in your life to spend a little bit of time with us and our viewers. So we do greatly appreciate it.
I'm absolutely, definitely honored to be invited on the show. So I was backstage, obviously, watching you two go at it. And I mean, I absolutely love the energy. And, you know, let's do it. Let's talk leadership and share stories and let's get it going.
Awesome. Well, I am ready, but I do want to say this real quick before we move on. I was absent this week. It's such a busy week. And DC1, you coordinated all this. You set all this up. You did the great comms with Master Chief and got everything set up. This was all because of you that we were able to get her on. So I thank you again for all your hard work and effort in getting this set up and ready for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We're a team.
Yes. So really exciting. Are you guys ready to jump into some leadership?
Let's do it.
She's ready. She's dancing. All right. So here's the first question. This is a little off topic. This isn't one of the three that we normally ask. But you have been of the year twice, or has it been more? because you won as OS1, you were Sailor of the Year.
Yes.
And then now you're the Master Chief 2019, 2020 Master Chief, Petty Officer of the Navy, Delbert D. Black, Leadership Award recipient.
You're
So,
having a good time with that one.
I love it. I love it. Go Navy, beat Army. So,
Yes, sir.
are there other awards that you've won? I'm sure there were other of the quarters of the, and that's it. The two. You just went big.
All the way.
There you go. Just big. Just do it. So, how did those two shape out? Like, what was the process with that?
Okay, so we'll start with the with the Sailor of the Year. Honestly, I didn't know it was a process. I checked in on the last in 2008 as a young first class, and I didn't even I always saw it on the Navy Times, right? When I was junior, when I see it coming out, and I always wondered, what do those sailors do to get on the Navy Times to be recognized at that level, right? But I absolutely didn't think that it was something that was achievable because we just come to work and we go to town. And I was stationed on a small boy all the way out in Japan. And I mean, we were working, but I had a command master chief, Master Leon Walker, right? And he didn't tell me that until the end, when I was at the surf pack level. And after that is when you get to the pack fleet level. And since I was C, that was the final. Well, when he was a QM1, he actually went to the airland or surf land level. He never shared that with me. But when I checked in on board the ship, what that CMC did for me, and he did for everyone, and I actually emulated that throughout my career, is he does a 5-year record review. And he tells you at the time you check in, and at the time I wasn't eligible for TK, and he breaks it down and tells you what you need to do in order to succeed. And the thing he didn't realize is if he gives me a task, consider it done. So when he gave me the list of things I had to do, I just felt like, okay, that has to happen. And it was an unfortunate situation, but my chief went home. That year was when we were sending, if you had 3 failures within a 4-year period for a PFA, you went home. So my chief went home at 16 years. So it voided that leadership role. And by God, that was the time that I grew the most as a leader, I would say. I mean, the most challenging, the toughest time. And those things were just captured basically by my leadership. And it wasn't me per se. It was everything that Y Division did at the time, the mission that we were doing, being in FDNF. All of those things just came together. And I think it was just kind of written. And when opportunity hits, you have to kind of be prepared to rise to it. And although the opportunity was there, I had to listen to those who were feeding me and not look at it as they were taking advantage of my efforts. And all I had to do was answer the call. And at the end, by the time, Sailor of the Year came, every time I won and came back, I'm like, again, what's going on with this? And it wasn't until I actually was announced as the Pack Fleet Sailor of the Year that it became real to me. Because throughout the whole process, I didn't even think it was possible. And I come from a third world country in Chad, Africa, right? Where for us as women, we're doing good now. I mean, we're coming out, but it's not the same as, the developed countries. And to join the United States Navy, and that year it was all 4 women for the first time. Nobody planned for that. But for some reason, it was my calling to be part of that. And it's definitely a humbling experience because I still get goosebumps when I think about that. And 10 years later, so that was 2009, 2010. So 10 years later, here I am a CMC, right? And there is no what's in it for me in leadership, right? So that's one of my mentors says that all the time, that with him. So we come to work again, and we just go to town. Somebody decided to take notes and put this thing up there. For all the command master chiefs who are doing great things, I'm not the best out of all of those. It just happens to be that all of what I've done, all of what the Gonzalez has done has been captured. And then I just happen to be the face of it. But I stand on a lot of people's shoulders for that, to include all of the other command master chiefs who were up in the running. So I can look at it, and although we're joking about you shall call me that the whole show, you know what I'm saying? It's really not about that. It's all a calling and a blessing. And I am definitely humbled And here we are talking leadership.
All right, outstanding. I'm sorry, had a little connectivity issues, and the kids are screaming in the back, but I'll send them your way.
Standing by.
So I know you give a lot of credit to those that helped raise and groom you, if you will, in the Navy, and the leadership that you had. But there's also some of that self-sacrifice and perseverance that you pushed through and helped bring this through to what it is right now. And so obviously, hats off to you. So far, to a great career. We won't go into what's going to happen in the future because we just don't know. The future is the future. And I will say that it kind of lends to what your quote will be later, which is really interesting. So one of the better quotes I've heard, by the way. So stand by for that. That's another hook, line, and sinker for later, folks. And we're going to drop the bombs. So it's going to be good. So let's get into the leadership aspect. Let's down and dirty. What's the most challenging aspect of leadership?
Self. So I would say the first challenge for leadership is yourself. And the reason why I say that, I had to learn that, because self-patience, managing your expectations for yourself, and then understanding that it's not about you, but recognizing that once you take care of yourself and you're in tune with yourself, your identity, you're authentic, you're not moved by anything, you can lead effectively. But the hardest thing we do as human beings is to face ourselves, right? So I think the biggest thing in leadership, if you want to do it effectively, is you got to know yourself. And then being comfortable in your ability to lead, because it's definitely challenging. A lot of times it's thankless. And then nobody asks you if you're ready. Nobody asks me, as you perform, you get to it, but by the time you're in front of people, even if you're a work center student, it doesn't matter, up to all the way to the president of the United States. It's expected of you once you show up as the leader to deliver, right? But nobody actually tells you or grooms you outside of yourself to be prepared enough to do it effectively. Because if not, egos come into play, pride comes into play, and then you mess around and ruin a lot of people's lives because you're not happy with what you see in the mirror. And then everybody who comes across you has to deal with that. So I think the biggest challenge I would say is to overcome yourself.
I hit the wrong button.
Mic check.
No, I hit the wrong button. So I'm finding myself more like DC1 Scott. She has a problem where she becomes part of the movie instead of watching the movie. And so
that's what the McPon said.
You're staring at me.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, because I'm listening and I'm like, so it's myself. No one's going to prepare me but myself. So I become part of the audience.
But it's a true statement. And I think I've seen that.
Prepare yourself so when we come showing up, you're ready to go. I need you to get ready. All right.
I'm always ready.
Okay. So Quana Duncan says, overcoming what? Did it cut out on that part? We'll throw the question up there too.
The first one.
Yes. So what?
So
go ahead.
I was going to say
that's your job, not mine.
So I know of Duncan because her and I have served together in Atlanta. She's a sailor in the reserves, and she's tuning in. So thank you for tuning in with us, Duncan. What do you look for to identify high potential sailors? Sounds like more of what we do in a mentorship.
What do I look for to identify high potential sailors?
Mm-hmm. Maybe some thinking.
Maybe some traits.
Teachable.
That's fact. That's probably the biggest thing. I agree. If people aren't willing to listen and they're not willing to take that on board, it's kind of hard to get them to grow and develop. So they got to be teachable.
Oh, I know what Duncan was asking. She's saying that I think CMC's audio was kind of cutting out a little bit at the end. And she was saying, she was asking overcoming what? I think that was during one of your statements.
Okay.
Okay, are they still having issues with hearing me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll come back to that. I'll watch it again tonight, and I'll put it in the comments there, Duncan. So, all right. So, throughout your career, you've grown. You know, we all did. You know, I sometimes sit there and I look in the mirror and I'm like, how did I get here? Because it's fast. As you get old, you always hear like time goes fast. Well, now I'm old. You're not anywhere near as old as I am. But how do you, throughout your career, what changes in leadership have you had to make from that, you know, that E1 to E3 range through your petty officers and becoming a chief, and then becoming the 2019-2020 Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Delbert G. Black?
You got to say it with some pride. Okay, if you're going to say it, I'm going to need you to say it with some pride.
I was proud I could remember it without necessarily looking at it.
Okay. So I would say maturity. Okay, maturity would be what I can shape with that. And you know, when you're younger and as a first class, you got to understand, your rank is happening. So for myself, I was ranking up, right? But I was still me. So, I mean, at some point I had to realize that, I'm no longer the first class, right? I'm no longer the second class. I'm no longer the chief. I'm no longer the senior chief, you know, and I had to think about, did I see my senior chief when I was doing this? Did I see my chief when I was doing that? Did I see my divo? Did I talk to the captain? And it's kind of like, I was a senior chief before I realized that that's no longer my role. You see, because like I said, you're picking up rank and you're performing. So you're high performance. And I would say from first class to chief, I was just production. It was, and then, you know, as an OS, you just cannot have a sense of urgency, right? Attention to detail, because when we miss a beat, we could take hits. So we in CIC, I mean, we kind of focus, and you have that kind of drive in there, and then you put that on the deck plate. It's anything in front of you. I mean, it's got to move at your pace, or you're gonna do major destruction. Right? That's kind of like the way I view it. So I didn't really relate to people. I just DC1, you're DC1. So what does DC1 have to offer me? And that's what I need from you. Veronica, hey, you see what I mean? Because I was that high performing sailor. I don't remember, you know, anybody saying, hey, how are you? You know, how is everything? It was just go, 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 and we get it done. So we don't think about it. That's what I knew. But as I rose, right, I had to realize that, no, it's the people. And I had to figure out, because now I'm no longer the immediate disciplinarian. I'm the one who's grooming those who can discipline properly, right? I'm no longer the immediate counselor. I'm the one who's grooming the counselors to counsel effectively. And I had to really grow in my role. And so it's, I wouldn't say night and day, but a lot of events and experiences got me to understand that you go from production to, oh no, it's about the people. And if you get the people to do right, you can get the production anytime.
That's 100% on spot. I have, and I'm sure that you've heard this throughout your career as well, is you're not the same person you were as a chief. Well, no, it's a different role, a different level, a different responsibility. And in the last, I've been a chief for 12 years, in the chief rank. So over those 12 years, I've grown quite a bit. I've learned a lot. And yes, so we have to change and we have to adapt to our new role, whatever that is in the command or in the Navy. So 100% on spot. Great answer. And I think that would actually go a lot to help a lot of our listeners out there and understand that. So DC1, anything to add on that?
Yeah, no, you said it, but then it also, when I'm listening to CMC, I'm thinking about, not only is it just by rank, but it's also definitely by that position, as you both had mentioned, that whenever you get into, because I'm thinking about, like, for myself in my situation, being in the reserves and then going in active duty, and then just having different roles within the military or the Navy community, you know, in our branch. the different roles that I've had to like completely like mind shift. Okay, this is my role. This is the expectation. Get with my leadership. What are you expecting of me? What does success look like? And then go from there. Get another role, start all over, do the same thing, because you can't continue to do the same thing in a different role. So I absolutely love that. Thank you, CMC.
All right. So if you like what you're hearing, like, subscribe, share, bells and whistles, all that fun. No, all thumbs up. You know, we do have, I will say this, I think this is the first time I've ever seen it, is somebody is crying emoji on our likes. I don't know if you can see that, DC1.
DC1, why you making people cry?
Well, apparently you have a history. That's what I'm gathering here.
DC1, let me find out you staring at people and they got to cry.
She puts herself on mute when she doesn't want to admit the truth.
Gosh,
so
I'm so horrible at that. No, I was just saying that it wasn't me. Maybe it was one of the Master Chiefs here who said something inspiring, and somebody was crying because they were filled with emotional joy and inspiration. Nothing sad here.
Inspirational.
Joyful tears.
All right. And if you have questions, put them down there and we'll ask CMC the questions. Here's the big question. And this is going to be one of my go-to questions moving forward, I think, because I think it's really important for our time and what the sailors kind of need to hear, especially from senior leadership, is, in your opinion, what do you think some of the the biggest challenges facing the Navy are?
I think it's the rapidly changing environment we're in right now. As leaders, we're in a very dynamic time, like in our social history, in our cultural history, maritime history, and I could even say nation history. And so for leaders, I think kind of like what you had on your video, right? Leadership really, really matters now more than ever, because you almost have to have visionary leaders, right, to get us through all of the stuff that's going on right now. And not only to get ahead of it, but to come with solutions instead of issues, because the issues are already there. The adversity, if you look at even our adversaries, they're eating up this time right now because it's creating havoc and chaos, right? And so what we have to do is, this is the time where we dig deep and find the solutions to not only perform, but build the resilient teams that we need, right? To achieve a level of success that will enable us to meet any mission assigned. But it's tough. It's really tough, because how do you motivate everybody right now to don the cloth of our nation every day, come into work and give their absolute best every day, when it's thankless? Where do you get your satisfaction from? Where do you get your purpose? Outside of the fact that it's selfless, we're all volunteers, and it's really the heart of the volunteer that's keeping us up right now. So if you're asking me, as leaders, the challenging thing is for us not to focus on the why right now, because it's not asking us why. It's not asking us if we're ready. It's not asking us if we are prepared. So we have to kind of like come together and figure out how we can get ahead of all of this, and then come out on top and still be that Navy that we are and have always been.
That great answer. And I will say that as we have to be rapidly changing and agile, resilient, it reminds me of a statement of, there's two things every sailor hates: change and the way things are. And you're going to find that resistance in the sailor to change things, to include ourselves. I'm not saying just the E1s and the E2s and the officers. I'm saying anybody. We're all resistant to change to some degree. So I think that's 100% right on target, that we have to be quick, we have to be agile and willing to accept that change. So great thought process. All right, DC1.
Yes.
We love books. We like to read. I mean, we're not we don't devour books. I think Mcbride called us out on that. He's like, well, I wouldn't say I'm a book guy when he's not devouring a book a week. I listen to books. I read books. I enjoy books. I wish more people read, and that's kind of why we do this. Do you read, first off? Do you listen to podcasts? See stories? No. People.
Who does that?
I do. I don't listen to the sea story thing. I
do read. Okay, DC, when I read.
I heard that one of your favorite books, one of his quotes is "Leaders are readers." So I knew that was just a fib that you were just telling.
Wow.
So
wow,
what is
DC one?
She got you. I don't think you're on the BFF list. I think you're gone, DC1.
It's okay. I still have.
Call Master Beldo back in.
I know. I still have.
And you dropped the mic. You dropped the mic on me too.
I was kidding. I can't control everything. What are you doing?
Bet.
All right. So, CMC, what is your favorite leadership book, or the one you would recommend to our listeners?
So, my favorite book of all times is "Failing Forward" by John C. Maxwell. And, on the cover of that book, it will say, turning mistakes into stepping stones. I read that book, I think, when I was 5, maybe. It's very important because you think you got it going on, but obstacles come in many different forms. In Failing Forward, one of the best quotes I like from in there, it says, no matter what happens to you, failure is an inside job. Listen to that, right? So it just comes back to a mindset thing. Another one is like, do you mind changing your mind? So it's almost like all within, right? So, but if you have not been tested, if you have not been challenged and you've been just winning all the time, or if you don't know what winning is like, if you don't know what success is like, we come from different walks of life, right? So Failing Forward to me kind of helps shape your mind and tells you that it's okay to fail. It's okay to not be the best every time. It's okay to not be favored all the time. But how do you overcome it? It's always in you.
I'm going to read that book because I like what you just said, and it kind of bridges the gap with almost every single guest we've had on DC1. Mm-hmm. Is failure is, it happens and it has to be acceptable, but you also have to accept that you have to change something to move forward. And I'm going to write that one down because that's actually a book I do want to read now.
Well, let me give you this to write down too, since you're taking notes. Okay. All right. Hey, you see one, stand by for my mic drop.
Wait, hold up.
Bring it up a little bit more.
Oh, wait. Do we need to do this? Wait, not me. Hold on.
No. Don't leave me alone. Leave me right here.
We'll save
that.
No,
later. It's not a quote, but to help people cope with, when you're not at your best, right? That all successful people are survival testimonies.
Can you say that one more time? All successful
people are survival testimonies. So if you sit in there, you want to compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 15 or 20, you don't know their journey, right? And I've read, I think Maya Angelou said it, and I think it's the best way to at least kind of like when you asked me at the beginning, still of the year versus Delbert Black, right? Everybody knows your story, your glory. Everybody knows your glory. They don't know your story, right? So when you see somebody walking, you already want to be them. You already think you've arrived, all of that. And sometimes you hate on it, right? You don't want to believe it. But again, it's a reflection of you. So until you like what you see in the mirror, you're not going to be the next best thing, whatever that is. But understand that every successful person is a survival testimony because we've all been tested.
That's a mic drop.
That is.
That's a mic drop.
But you didn't write it, DC1. I'm gonna ask you later if you got a word for word.
I'm gonna.
It's Facebook official right there. Boom. And on the YouTube. So that's good. That's good. And April Beldo says preach.
Hey,
Hey, if you know if April Beldo like it, that's good.
hey, April Beldo Fleet.
All right.
Well, y'all need to know.
So you did give us a quote right there. You've actually given us a couple quotes.
But that's not the one.
That's not the one. What's the one?
Let's go, DC1. Which one is it?
I'm going to drum roll for you, CMC, so you can say this quote, prepare to be enlightened. If you have not heard this yet. And favorite leadership quote by CMC Mcbride is?
Say it. My favorite quote is, we did not come here to fear the future. We came to shape it. President Barack Obama.
I mean, what else do you have to say about leadership?
Let's get it.
That's it. We came to shape the future.
We came to shape it. So if you're not on that kind of level of energy, don't even worry about
it. That's another mic drop. So what you've done is DC1 challenged you.
Accepted.
And then you just like, I'm going to 8 Mile this and you're done.
Not today. That's what I said.
Whoa. So I would tell anybody, this might be the best 10 minutes of leadership conversation.
Okay, don't do that. Don't do that yet. Don't wait. Don't, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, I just said 10 minutes. The first part was pedestrian at best. I'm just kidding. All right. No, great job. So that is, look, if you're fearful of the future, how can you possibly lead into it? You have to come to shape it, to change it, to make it what it's supposed to be. Great quote by President Barack Obama. So
because the same president said, we are the change we see. Who you waiting on? It's all you.
That's all you got.
I mean, that's why he's the president.
Okay. So we're going to move.
Yep.
This is it. So we are going to back out. DC1 and I are going to.
Don't leave me. Let's do it.
No. Watch. DC1 goes first. Sis.
Don't leave me. Hello.
Okay. So we forgot to mention to you, but this will be your moment, CMC. Master Chief. I'm bringing everybody back in really quick.
Everybody back.
I am because we forgot to prompt her. The reason why she has the platform now.
Okay. Yes, this is you all by yourself.
Well, I don't need it. Can we go to the questions? I don't need me time.
There's no more questions. Oh, you want questions from the field?
Yeah,
let's do that.
They're in shock.
Yeah. No. So CMC, it's you're absolutely right. So we're not putting you on the platform because it's about you. But what we're going to do is we're going to put you on this platform to give either your best advice to anybody out there. Maybe they're going through a tough time, or they're just looking for some kind of inspiration from leadership and they don't have that within their command, or any kind of military branch, any advice or tips or life experiences that you'd like to share with anybody. And that's why we give you the platform.
DC1, I heard you the first time.
You don't want to be by yourself. We're good. So let's do this.
I can do it.
Questions. Do you want to do it?
Well, let's do the question. Can we do the question and then do this after so that I get the feel for what we need to talk about?
Okay. I have a question for you. So, CMC, I read in your bio that you know 4 different languages. Can you tell us about what those languages are and how that came about?
Okay. So the languages are French, Arabic, obviously English, and Guran, which is my mom. So I'm from Chad, Africa. My mother is from the northern part of Africa, and that's a dialect of her tribe. And it came about because my father is American, so I got English. So when we were growing up, anything you could pick up and read, movies, anything like that, because we went to school. So let's talk about my family. So I have 6 siblings, right? So my oldest brother, Ahmad, he passed away in 2007.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
So
that.
I have an older sister, Medea. She's a warrant officer in the Marine Corps. I have my sister, Layla. Actually, she's not in those pictures. She was the first one who joined the service. She was an IT2 when she got out at 7. And she's back home now with her family doing great things, running businesses and helping people. Then you got myself, then my younger brother, Luke, who is a captain in the Marine Corps, a recon officer. And then my youngest brother, who's a master gunner in the Marine Corps. So we all joined the service because, grow pretty much to see if we could stand on our own feet instead of relying on mom and dad. And then once we joined, it just became a thing. My father spent a lot of time in service. So he works at the U.S. Embassy in Chad at the moment. And I mean, watching him do what he does and my mother, we've all just kind of grew up in an environment where it's just kind of selfless, all about service. And when we joined the Navy, I joined the Navy, they joined the Marine Corps. But anyway, they're probably watching right now, but they all have done greater things. So if you think I'm something, you gotta look into my siblings. We kind of feed off of each other. And so at the house, when we went to a school that was in the French system, so that's where I learned French. You had to take Arabic all the way up to the 9th grade, French and Arabic as a second language. And then you can pick if you want to do English or Arabic. But also, everybody out in town, they speak Arabic. And then English, anything you could pick up at home, read, write, listen to. My father made sure it was all in English. So like when our friends used to come over and they would watch movies with us, it was all in English. Why do y'all do that? Magazines, it's all in English. So, but that's how they worked it out for us. By the time we came about, it was just the same. So it's nothing. And back home, a lot of people speak multiple languages. So that's how we came about.
That is incredible.
I can barely speak English.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened to y'all hype? You what's going on?
We're impressed.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if I have a master of the English language, and you're speaking 4. I'm embarrassed, is what it is.
Don't.
I tried. I did. I took French and Spanish, and I don't even know 10 words. I'm horrible. My brain doesn't work that way. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's impressive, CMC. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't look into going into linguistic or some kind of specialty of that. I'm sure that you were asked when you first came into the office for our recruiting.
Not in the office. Once I joined, it was a thing. But at that time, I absolutely loved being an OS. So it was like no option.
So when are you coming recruiting? By the way, is that going to happen?
Recruiting?
Yeah, you're going to come recruiting.
I'm ready now. Let's do it.
All right,
we're recruiting right now.
All right, we're going to bring you TAD up to Boston. Have you talked to some of our...
Let me tell you something. Okay, let's do this offline.
All right. All right. So DC1, what else do we have?
We have a comment from Les Holly, if I pronounced that correctly. Extremely humbled and inspiring CMC, out here giving great advice and knowledge.
So, well, that is outstanding, and it is wonderful. Really, the last 10 minutes or so have been, the whole thing has been great, but that last 10 minutes has been so impactful and so, I want to say raw, but it really is. It has just been kind of the straightforward answer that I think all our sailors need to hear. We have to control the future, and we do that. So get out there, everybody, understand that. Anything last thing for CMC before we let her go and we kind of close everything up, DC1?
I don't think so. We just want to say thank you. Unless Master Chief, I'll let you part that with CMC, but excited to have you here with us. And thank you for sharing your photos with us to allow us to show everybody else and all of our viewers. Oh, I saw you laughing. Master Chief, so I had to look to make sure I wasn't muted.
Which one? That one or me?
Yeah.
So I would say this. Thank you, DC1 for real. Like Master Chief said at the beginning. I mean, you were not giving up. I was dodging you left and right. But you didn't give up, and you were very patient, and we made the time. So definitely enjoyed our conversation today. And you asked me earlier, what can I say to anybody out there today, right, in the service or not? What I will tell you is, just be patient with yourselves. It's not easy out here, period. And in moments like this, you have to find your purpose. You have to find why you get up every day. If you're looking for it in anyone else or anything else, you're always going to be disappointed. Manage your expectations, control what you can control, and then just be satisfied with the efforts you're giving every day. It may not be all of it. It may not be good enough for whoever you think, but it's good enough for you because you're giving the energy you can give. So just kind of measure yourself with yourself. So tomorrow, do a little bit more. The next day, do a little bit more. But don't try to be somebody you're not, because if you are trying too hard to be something or somebody you're not, you're always going to fail at it because you don't know the effort they're putting in themselves to fail. So find in you a reason to love yourself first. Everything else, trust me, will fall in place because you're your own motivation. And then when you have that kind of energy, you're going to attract the energy that's going to keep feeding you to keep doing better, to keep growing. And when opportunities hit, right, you never know. And you want to be ready. You don't want to be the reason for your no. People are going to tell you no. People are going to tell you you're not good enough. People are going to tell you that it's not for you. You're not their flavor. But you are your own flavor. You are good enough for yourself. So for as long as you do everything you can to give yourself your yes, it's okay if I'm not your flavor. But I know I'm going to sleep good because I gave my absolute best. That's all you can ask for in life. Because so many obstacles out here, so many things in our way. You got to learn to embrace it. You got to learn to embrace the no's and turn them into yeses. But if you don't give yourself a yes, don't expect me to give you. If you don't pat yourself on the back, don't expect me to pat you on the back. If it stinks, it just stinks. If it smells good, it just smells good. Don't seek validations in anyone else. So, and then everything else will come. I'm so humbled. This award has brought on a lot of attention, but a lot of great attention. I always say you never know who is inspired by you. DC1, I decided to get on here. I understood when you kept coming at me that I needed to get on here because somebody needed to hear it. Somebody needed to see it. Somebody needed to believe it. If it's me, my God, we're going to make it happen. So thank you.
Wow. That was
Yes.
good. That was good. All right, we're gonna cut that out. Yeah, that was a big one. That's a boom. If you liked what she said, the Sequana Duncan says she feels like you're speaking directly to her. And look, just oh, you did too. I was listening to the same one. So I will man, I thought of while you were saying everything and you said you measure yourself against yourself. All I could think of was envy. And people who are envious of others rarely grow because they don't understand the struggle. They don't understand the hurdles and the obstacles and everything that got in that person's way. They're just jealous and envious of their success. And I thought that was great that you kind of closed out the show with that. So with that being said, CMC, thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate you. This is a great show. And we've been really blessed to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Thank you, CMC.
All right. Wow. That was really, really, really good. I did find myself just being you. Yes. So Raphael Barney, CMC, Bravo Zulu Sis, nothing great happens until leadership shows up. Can you send DC1 some batteries? Is that your smoke detector?
Can you hear that?
Yes. Oh
I'm
my.
sorry, guys. So this is like the last couple of weeks. We're in this apartment and moving into our home, and I don't know what happened. I was cooking breakfast. The smoke detector went off, and ever since then, it's just reminding me you're burning food. You can't cook or something.
You burnt breakfast. You burnt breakfast.
I did. I'm gonna have to call maintenance. I think, yeah, maintenance can come over and do something because I tried unplugging it, and it wouldn't. It's hanging now.
Oh, you got to take the battery out. You got to unplug the wire and the battery.
Okay, maybe I'll try that. So, thank you, Mr. Barney.
But then you won't have fire protection.
That's true.
Or you could just get a new battery. It's 9-volt. It's down at the store. A couple bucks.
I don't think it's the battery, but I'll double check. Maybe that's what it is.
It literally is the battery.
Okay. So, wow, I have a great system where you could pick that sound up. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's actually quite loud and annoying now that I hear it. Thank you, Raphael Barney. So that's good. And being a DC man, you should have known that it was the battery. But let's get back to CMC. The 2019-2020 Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Delbert D. Black, Leadership Award recipient, Command Master Chief Mcbride. Absolutely phenomenal. I tell you what, her thought process is the last one of envy and looking at everybody else, but she kind of kept that theme throughout. And it's, it's internal and a true core belief of hers is that you are responsible for your own actions. And again, as we go back through our history on the show, you will find a lot of these people have said that you are responsible for yourself. I want to say Master Chief Kirby brought that up again in one of his, like, don't look to your chief for your PFA. Like you own that. Like I can't make you do push-ups, right? You got to go do it. So, I think that those are really, really good points from her. And just, again, thank you to DC1 for having us on here.
Stop it.
But I will say we messed up last week because we did not get the show up and we did not tell anybody we weren't coming. So if you tuned in last week and it was dead air, apologize. DC1's fault.
Yep. I'll take that one too.
No, so all right. So that's good stuff. So let's move to number 2. And that is our 2 cents. My 1 penny, your 1 penny. You went first last time. I will go first this time if you're so I'm glad you got there. All right. Nobody can hear anything you say. But anyways, I know. All right. So here's my 2 cents. As the political spectrum in the United States starts to heat up, I would ask that each of you, number one, understand there's no Chinese proverb that I'm going to make up right now. I think it's an old Chinese proverb. The left and the right wing are of the same bird, right? We're still America. We're still the United States of America. Whether you're left-leaning, right-leaning, centrist-leaning, whether you have a D or an R or an L for libertarian or whatever political party you may affiliate with, we're still all Americans, and we still all deserve to be treated with appreciation, respect, and encouragement like we talk about a lot on this show. The divisive nature of politics is not conducive to what we're trying to accomplish as good humans in the world, right? We want to get along. We want everybody to find success, whatever that is defined to them. So just having that divisiveness is not good. And your opinion isn't always right. One of the great things with America that I've always found is the First Amendment and the freedom of speech. And what that affords you the opportunity is to speak your mind. Even if it hurts your feelings or you disagree, it's okay. But it doesn't have to be angry. It can be in a disagreement. I heard somebody years ago say, just because I disagree with you on 20% of what we're talking about doesn't mean I'm your enemy. So keep that in mind as we go through the season of politics. And it seems like we just continue in this season of politics nowadays. It used to be that every 4 years you'd have like 6 months. Now it just seems like it's every day. It's the Twitter 120 characters or whatever they had type deal. But please just continue to seek out the goodness in people and be appreciative and respectful of people. And that will do much more for the country than any politician could ever do. And I would say this, remember, politicians are not, they're your leaders. They are your representatives. It's that simple. They represent you and your values. So vote for the ones that you think represent you and your values. That's simple. It's okay. All right. That's my 1 cent that may have turned into 3. I'm not sure.
No, it was good. It was a big penny.
There you go.
That was good. And that's perfect timing because of the time frame that we are right now and current event. So I'll make mine, try to make it straight to the point so you guys don't hear the birds chirping in my background, but something along of what you said a little bit, as well as what CMC had also mentioned. And that is in regards to, don't try not to compare yourself to other people. And what I'm speaking on is on behalf of my experiences, as well as conversations that I've had with other people. So from my experiences, when I came into recruiting, into social media, I'm looking at who's doing great. And I'm like, okay, I want to be like that. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to be great as those who you admire or who are inspiring or who motivate, right? Nothing wrong with that. But once you start doing it to where you start putting yourself down, then there's an issue and then there's a problem. Not only that, with the comparing yourself to other people, you allow your light to dim. And we want your light to shine. There's only one of you. There's only one of me. So be the best light and shine how you were meant, how you were purposely designed to do so. So along with tying in what you had mentioned is that, and it kind of goes with this as well, when we compare, and we get maybe these little jealousy, silly type of feelings to where we don't help each other out, whether it's with work or, relationships. And I'm talking about like sailors and shipmates, whatever you have, right? So if there's ever any time a misunderstanding or a miscommunication, go directly to that person instead of talking to other people about it, because your problem just grows and it just turns into this big old ball of something that didn't have to be anything. And that's also where we come in together, where we make up these things that aren't really true in our mind. And then we start talking to other people about them. So to prevent from any type of negative, because I'm all about positive vibes and energy, right? To prevent any negative feelings about yourself and what you portray and release out to the world, I will just say to stay focused. And it was something that I had posted on a video. It was funny, but stay focused on you and not the haters, right? And the other thing is, if you don't have a disagreement with somebody, that's okay too. But most importantly, go straight to the source. So all of that, getting rid of all those things will help you be who you are and the happy you. Oop, that was a phone call coming. That's it. That's my big penny too.
Well, I think we had 4 cents today. Maybe we had a nickel. Could be. But no, that is 100%. And you're right. And you've talked about that several times. And I obviously always talk about appreciation and respect, and you talk about handling things and not being envious. It is one of the 7 deadly sins, envy. And there is a reason. If you don't know what the 7 deadly sins are, I'm not going to repeat them because I would forget. But I would ask that you go look at them, and then you'll understand that they are actually the antithesis of good leadership. It's the exact opposite. So I think I used antithesis right. Antithesis. I may be wrong. I may have used that word wrong. If anybody's a walking thesaurus, let me know. But I think it's the exact opposite of what good leadership is. You can't be envious, and you can't be gluttonous, and you can't be too prideful. And there's a lot of things that go with being a good leader. So look at the 7 deadly sins and do a little bit of that, and you'll understand it. And there goes the birds. So the big announcement is, are you ready? You don't know this yet, DC1.
I'm excited. I want to. Okay.
You shouldn't be excited. It's like I said, it's big news to me.
Okay.
I don't know if it's big news to you or anybody else.
But if it's good for you and it's big for you, then it's big for me.
Yeah. So I've come to a decision with the leadership within. Okay. So right around the end of October, I'm gonna have to step back. Not for any military issues or anything like that. There's just a lot of stuff I have going on. I'll still be involved in the website and the Facebook and all that stuff. I'll still come on as needed. So what I'm kind of asking is, are we going to continue, or are we going to try to find somebody to replace? So these are things that we'll have to decide. So if anybody has any thoughts, ideas, let us know. I know I didn't pass it through you. I'm a horrible co-anchor, if you will. But, there's a lot of things going on, especially in the job and the mission, the transformation of all those things. Obviously, COVID-19 has affected recruiting drastically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of focus that needs to be had in other places. So, I would say that this week, when you had the brunt of this, you probably spent 10 hours plus on this show preparing for this to get it all prepared. Is it probably a good rough estimate?
No, probably less than that, because I don't want to scare anybody who might be interested in coming in.
No, you spent 10 minutes. Yes, everybody just spent 10 minutes.
But it does. You have to prepare ahead of time. So if you have no issues with planning, I have no issues with planning. I'm a multitasker. So,
but I do have 3 big irons in the fire. Big irons. I'm hoping I just made that word up too.
It's 2 words in one.
I know, hoping. I'm hoping they pan out in the very near future, and we'll be able to announce maybe one on Monday. I'm actually waiting on a text message back. If we get that for next Friday, that would be awesome. So I do want to end on a very good note with some of these speakers that we're going to have on, and we started this in May. It's now August. We've had some phenomenal guests. Every single one of them highly valuable and have great insight into leadership. So that's kind of that big news. Bobby, October, I'm going to make up a date. Whatever the last Friday in October is will probably be my last permanent show. I feel like Johnny Carson and Jay Leno is coming in. I'm funnier than Johnny Carson. That's real.
I'm sad, but I completely, and all the viewers, I'm sure, completely understand. We know how it goes. So
right. So I appreciate that. So to our 3,490 listeners right now.
Oh, just got another one, 91.
Yep, there you go. That's our show. And it was a fabulous show. Again, all of them have been just, I can't think of any bad moment in any show. It's been great across the board. So thanks again to CMC. Mcbride, thank you again to DC1 Scott.
My pleasure.
I am done. Say your goodbyes.
All right, y'all. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Lead with love and be
gooder.
Hey.
Boom. And with that, we're going to wave goodbye.